everyone, welcome back to week 2. I'm glad you made it through the first week. I should point out a couple things right off the bat. First, thanks for tuning in. If you're tuning in today on Monday, I know it's a holiday for a lot of us, so if you are taking a break and just kind of checking in the weekly update today, thank you. If you're hanging out and waiting until, Tuesday or Wednesday or something to watch this video, totally fine. But I just wanted to make sure I posted this on Monday just in case, just to stick with that Monday schedule. Let's see. Also, I do want to point out, we don't have nearly as many things this week. We have 5 things in the modules as opposed to 10 last week. So some weeks will be a little bit heavier than others, as I mentioned before. So this is one of those weeks where it's not as intensive as last week. Last week there's a lot of housekeeping to take care of just because it was the first week of the semester and had a lot of things to discuss. This week, not nearly as many, but of course, still important stuff. So let's talk a little bit about a couple things that happened last week, and then I'll talk a little bit about some stuff that's going to happen this week. Last week was our first go around with the questions and answers. There were a lot of actual questions about the questions. I always think that's funny to say. And I do want to tackle that a little bit now. So when you're actually posting questions, everybody who is assigned to post questions, those will be due on Thursday evenings. That way, anybody who answers questions has a little bit of extra time to go through those questions and respond to them by Sunday. Remember, every week you're going to switch tasks, and those tasks are listed in the modules under questions and answers. And so if you're going through the modules each week, your assignment or your task will be there. Your group assignment, Group A, Group B, Group C, will never change. Just what you're required to do each week. And again, that's listed in the modules. Also, your weekly tasks are in the syllabus as well. So just want to give you a heads up about that. And then also when I put you in groups, a couple people were confused, and this is totally fine. That's why we have these, catch-up videos. When I say the group that you're in, this is not a group assignment. I only put you in groups to divvy up the tasks that you as an individual are responsible for. It's just easier to put you in groups that way. So it's not a group assignment. You're just put in a group so you can identify which task you're responsible for. That's all. There aren't actual any group assignments this semester. So there's that. I do want to emphasize for the questions themselves, I did notice as I went and read some of the questions that people posted, a lot of them were really vague. I graded fairly leniently this time, just because I didn't get a chance to really emphasize this too much. But I want to make sure that you are posting questions that are specific enough about the readings or the viewings. You can post about one article, you can post about a couple, you have a video and an article, however you want to mix and match that. But I do want to make sure that you are actually demonstrating that you've read or viewed something. And so, but how I'll do that is to make sure that those questions are very specific, that you're pointing to something specific in one of those articles or videos, something like that. And then anything that you read or watch for that week is up for grabs for questions about which you can create those. So with the exception of assignment videos or my weekly update, you can't create questions about those. But any of the content stuff that you can use for those questions for the week. Hope that clarifies that a little bit. If you have other questions about it, always just ask. I'm happy to help. Let's see. We also had a couple other posts. I had a lot of fun reading the intros and responding to those. A lot of similarities amongst a lot of you. A lot of similar majors, interests, favorite cereals. I saw a lot were really great. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of good new TV recommendations too. I see a lot of you recommending a bunch of them that I've heard from others to say, oh, you have to watch this, you have to watch that, and I haven't gotten around to it. So maybe this is the time that I'm going to take a lot of those recommendations and really get there. So thanks for those. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Last week we did talk about technopanics and this idea that a lot of the technologies that we use currently were frightening for a lot of people when they were first developed. We're going to continue with that idea this week. Let's take a look at what we have to do in the modules. So 2.1 you're actually doing right now, which is watching the weekly update. And again, I'm split screening here, so you'll be like, what is she doing? 2.2 is watch a video about the current events assignment. And again, remember I said before that the assignments that I had before in a previous semester, those didn't change. So I had I've recorded those videos in a previous semester. So just be aware that the dates in the video for the current events assignment are different, but the syllabus and the dates on the assignment description on Canvas are correct. So I just want to make you aware of that distinction. So that's the second thing you'll have to watch, is that description of the current events assignment. You're required to actually sign up for a date that you want to do your current events assignment. To do that, I explained that in the video, but to do that, you'll have to go to the Pages tab, scroll all the way to the bottom, and it says like current events sign up. There are two dates there, week 6 and week 10. So pick one of those two dates that you'll be responsible for the current events assignment. The entire current events assignment is explained in the next video in 2.2. It's also in the assignments tab under the files tab, so you have all the details there if you want to check that out before you actually commit to one of those dates. I also encourage you to always just take a look at your other course schedules if something conflicts with a date that you're thinking about. You know, maybe you have a big test for another class. You wouldn't want to sign up for current events that week. So just be aware of your other commitments. And then there are caps on each date. I think it's like 10 people one week and 11 people the other week, something like that. And so once those dates are full, that's it. So just make sure if you really have a preference, you want to get there early and sign up. So again, to sign up for current events, after you watch the video and know what you're getting into, I encourage you to head over to the Pages tab on Canvas, scroll all the way down, find current events sign up, and the instructions how to sign up are there. Okay, so that's 2.2. And then 2.3, we have a bunch of readings this week. It seems like a ton. It's not super intense. There are a couple articles that are a little bit lengthier than others, but most of them are small newspaper articles. I do want you to think of in the back of your head, you know, what are we so afraid of? That can't be your discussion or content question. I did post that on the top of the page. But I want that to kind of go in the back of your head as you're reading through these, that, again, we're in the technopanics phase. And we really are trying to think of, like, well, what is so frightening about these? Why are people so paranoid about some of these new technologies that have been developed or we are currently developing? Like, for example, one of the articles that you'll be reading is called Americans Are More Afraid of Robots Than Death. That seems crazy. Like, I'm shocked by that idea, that we're more afraid of robots than dying. That is a conflict in a lot of people's brains. It may be yours, maybe mine. Maybe I have to think about this a little bit more. But that is something that is one of the topics in one of our readings today. So really think about, what are we so afraid of as you're going through these readings? I should also point out that throughout the semester, I will likely drop in little Easter eggs in these weekly update videos just to make sure that people are watching them, because I know a lot of times throughout the semester, people will just kind of fade out and stop watching these. I'm not going to do it this week, but just be on the lookout that in the future I might, maybe extend a deadline, or maybe ask you to send me an email with something specific to prove that you watched it. Or I may ask that everybody create questions about one specific article, something like that. So just be on the lookout that I may do that here and there. Not every week, but just every now and again, just to keep everybody on their toes. Not to be mean, just to, gotta check. All right. So that is that next tab. 2.4 is your questions and answers. You'll see once again that it's the same setup as last week. It has all the descriptions about the types of questions that you're posting. Again, your group task has changed this week, so be aware of what that is. And again, you can find that in the 2.4 module. You can find that on the syllabus. So those are a couple different places you can find it. So you want to look there. Okay, I will say I did post the same stuff, like how to create questions and all that sort of thing. Next week, that won't be there, so it'll just be your group tasks that are posted. That way, you're not like, okay, I've seen this a billion times, I don't need to read this again. I just posted it for the first 2 weeks. That way, depending on what your task was, you would have exposure to it. So make sure you do that. Again, anybody who's posting questions, so that's Group C and Group D this week, you have to post those by Thursday. And Groups A and Group B are responsible for answering questions. And then finally, we have a little reminder that your synthesis essay is due this Sunday. Remember, the synthesis essay was all described in a video from last week, so if you need a little refresher about what that is, go back and check that out. Again, if you have questions about that, please feel free to email me. Oh, I did have a question, an email question earlier this week. It does say APA. It only has to be APA citations. It doesn't have to. You don't have to have a cover page, a running header, anything like that. Just APA citations. So that's all you need to do. So just make sure you do submit that synthesis essay by Sunday evening. If you have questions as you're going through that, please feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to help you out through this first synthesis essay. I can't say that. And I'm always happy to help you out. So synthesis essay 1 or 5, whatever. So just let me know if you need any assistance there. And so that's our week this week. I don't think there's anything else I need to mention. I don't know. I think that's all. All right. Well, have a great week. If you have today off, enjoy, relax. If you're, one of us that have to work today, boo. Hope it goes by quickly. And otherwise, I will see you next week. All right. Bye.